Hi, I'm Amy Moritz with Women Empower Active, an initiative of UR Sportswear and The Accidental Athlete, where we talk with women who are doing amazing, awesome stuff that inspire us to lead active, healthy lifestyles. And happy Mother's Day to all of our moms out there, and happy Mother's Day to our guests today, too. Amelia Meyer, who is Tales of a Mountain Mama, is her vlog and her brand, and has four kids aging from ranges aging wait here we go ranging from ages, it's late in the East Coast here, from 7 to 2 months. So I'm just going to bring Amelia in and say hi. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Women Empower Active.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm pleased to be here, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms watching too.
Yes, and happy Mother's Day to you. And you actually mentioned, we were talking before, that you and your kids went out for a little bike ride today, right? That's how you celebrated Mother's Day?
We did. Everyone was a little bit crazy today, and so we got out of the house and we biked up into, we live in Yellowstone, so we biked up into the park and to a little secret place away from tourists and did a little hike as a family and just enjoyed the afternoon, which was just what I needed. So.
That's great. Now, and we're going to talk about getting outside with your family. But first, tell us a little bit about your background and what your outdoor background is. How you started hiking. Give us, tell us a little bit about that background for you.
Sure. I actually grew up in Alaska and lived there until I left for college, pretty much. And my family was pretty outdoorsy. We went hiking and camping as a family from when I was young, and I honestly hated it. I didn't want to do it, and it wasn't until I got into high school that I really appreciated what my parents had been doing and found my own love for the outdoors. And then my husband is very outdoorsy, and he is the kind of guy that'll do everything he can to get us all out, so which gets increasingly difficult the more kids we have. But he's been my challenge also, and we've just found that we're better as a family when we're outside. So that's how it started. He was not really as outdoorsy as a kid, and so melding those two backgrounds has been interesting and pretty neat to see the challenge the kids has given us too.
Sure, and when I was reading your blog and some of the background from it, you said that as you were having your family, you sort of knew for your sanity you had to get outside. So how important was it for your mental health, for the family mental health, maybe to find ways to get the whole family out?
Yeah, and I think that everyone needs to get outside and everyone needs to be active. I think sometimes it's really hard to realize that about yourself, and for some reason when we started having kids it was even more magnified. My husband and I got out a lot together as a couple. We actually started having kids pretty quick after we got married, and so it changed pretty fast for us what that looked like. But when we are at home and I'm home with the kids, everyone goes crazy. We live in a small house, and we actually always have, and I just don't do well inside, and neither do they. So I found that when I am stressed and they're stressed, even if we're just walking around the block for 15 minutes, it just resets everyone and we can continue on our day. And motherhood, it's tough, and having young kids is really tough, and so for some reason just being outside makes it easier.
And how have your kids taken to being outside? Obviously, it's something that you've done with them since they're going to have a memory. But how have they liked getting outside? Did they have the same reaction that maybe you did when you were growing up?
Yes, mother's revenge, right? It depends on the day. Sometimes we say we want to call the ambulance because all we hear is whining all day long. But usually when we can get everyone out the door and we can get them moving and getting the endorphins running and everyone just getting some fresh air, even after the first half hour, we're usually okay. We do a lot of bribing, and we're okay with that. We do a lot of snacks, and we do a lot of we're almost to this point or something when we're outside, but they tend to do okay with it, but they're kids, and sometimes they just don't want to. Sometimes they just want to stay home, and we let them to some point, but we also know that someone, everyone always needs sometimes like a nap, and they do too. And so when they get out, even if it's, like I said, a half an hour, and then we come back inside and see how everyone's doing, and then we go out again later on. Just kind of depends on the day.
So your approach obviously kind of takes a little bit into account what's going, how they're reacting that, that day, and then you go with it from there.
We do, and honestly, we push our kids and we challenge them because we've seen their personalities. We know that once they get over that initial hump of seeing what their bodies can do and what their happiness is afterwards, that they do feel better, and sometimes it's just better to push them past that. I think I lost you.
Seriously? I believe we are experiencing some technical difficulties. So please stand by. And we'll see if we can get Amelia back. I wish I had a soft shoe I could do for you all to entertain those of you who are watching us live. So, and maybe if you're watching us on tape, Jacqueline can cut us out. She's trying to come back. I'm getting the update from our technical support. So fingers crossed that we'll get her back on. And you don't have to sit there and listen to me talk. Hopefully if we get Amelia back on, we will also be able to talk to her about living in Yellowstone. She lives outside of the park, and it's a beautiful spot there. And so hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to her about Yellowstone and the park. And she did give me a hint that the best time to visit that is in October, because the tourist season is low. It's before winter. Wait, let her tell us that. She's back.
Sorry, everything froze and I'm not open.
That's okay. They just had to listen to me babble for a little bit. That's all. I teased that you might talk to us a little bit about living near Yellowstone, because I think that's pretty cool and awesome. But
okay, well, where did you lose me?
we were talking about obviously we were talking about your kids and about getting them out and kind of playing with how their mood is that day, as far as what you do, and kind of forcing them a little bit, but also kind of, coming back in, and maybe after like half an hour and then going back out.
Right. And I guess I just want to make it clear that sometimes people read our blog or see our stuff on Instagram or Facebook, and they just think, oh, they just do that, and that's not something I can do. And that's so far from the truth that our kids melt down all the time. We, we have our own frustrations all the time, and the difference is that we just try to make our outdoor life normal for them from a very young age. Our 2 month old is outside with us all the time now, and she has been.
I passed that on to you. The disease of saying the ages on to you. That's my disease. I passed through the computer to you. So.
So we're a normal family, and I think it's important for everyone. I don't think that that some families aren't. That's not important for them. It's not easy, and I know it's not easy.
And it's, as you mentioned, it's not easy. What are some? You've been doing this for a while now. You've got a bunch of kids. Do you have any, like, tips or tricks to? You said there was some bribing sometimes going on. How you how you maybe get them outside and get them engaged, and maybe for people who are like, I would love to do that, but I don't know where to start with my kids. What would be some of your advice for those people?
I guess three quick tips. One is bring friends with you. Sometimes just a little peer pressure goes a long way. Second is have food all the time, because kids' blood sugars, when they get low, they don't even realize it, and they'll completely melt down, and all they really need is a snack. And then let's see if I can remember the third one. Oh, the third one is sometimes really good gear makes a really big difference. If you don't have a carrier to get out with a baby, or a stroller, or it's raining and you can't get out because no one has rain gear or snow gear, it really limits you. And I'm not saying you need to go and spend thousands of dollars on gear, but sometimes that just a few things goes a long way. And if you can keep the kids feeling good, then they feel they want to stay out because they're not cold and they're not hot and they're not hungry. And sometimes it just takes staying. Sorry, I'm stuttering here. Staying one step ahead of them.
Gotcha. You mentioned gear, and I know that you do gear reviews on your blog, and that you really feel that that good gear can go a long way. But as you mentioned, you don't need to spend a ton of money. Are there certain things that you've noticed that obviously kids are going to grow out of stuff, so you don't want to spend tons of money on stuff they're going to grow out of? But what are maybe key things to look for, or deals to look for, or things that you would really want to invest in that would be good for the family?
Good question. Some of it just depends on what your family likes to do. If you want to go biking, then make sure and you bike a lot, make sure you invest in kids' bikes that don't weigh as much as they do, and make sure you have a bike trailer that's going to pull and let you get around town. Or if you are going to be hiking, then go to a big store and try on all the framed carriers and find one that feels good to you, because there's not just a one size fits all. As we head into summer, it's really important to have sun hats and have sunglasses on kids, and put them on them from a really young age, so that's what they do. When they go outside, they put their hat on, they put their sunglasses on. And ironically, today we had one of our sons having a fit about his sunglasses. He would not wear them, but so it's not going to be easy every day. But when you start from a younger age, it's maybe easier. And then in the summer, wear sun shirts, so you have to put less sunscreen on, and it's just easier to throw some clothes on and not having to reapply. And if you're hiking, wear long pants that are breathable, so that you have less abrasion from bushes, and then good sturdy shoes. It makes a difference too. And those things can be found secondhand. They can be found in consignment shops. They can be found at discount places online. So, like I said, you don't have to go spend a ton of money, but it does pay to have something that's going to keep them more comfortable than a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and they're getting burnt, or they're getting hot, or whatever the case is as your weather changes.
Right, because as you said, that they're going to, if they're comfortable, they're going to be more apt to enjoy being outside than if they're having some discomfort with their gear, and they obviously can't verbalize that that's what their problem is.
Yeah, and I think I was going to just say, sometimes going on like shakeout trips, just go on short hikes to find out, okay, is this going to work for our family? If not, let's move forward. We're 3 miles on a trail, and we realize we have, exaggerating here, but 6 kids to carry back, and we can't carry them all, or we don't have enough food or enough water, or whatever you need, because sometimes you just don't think of those things because you're busy and you have kids that have needs, and your mind's going in 100 different directions. You can't think of everything every time.
And like you mentioned, like, a shakeout, which is good. I mean, maybe also starting, not having to take on a big thing or a big trip, but even just a small, walk at a local nature trail or local small hike to start with.
Right. And I mean, getting outside is getting outside. I'm not saying that, you need to go summit a mountain every time and if your kids are outside and if they're active, because I think happy kids are moving kids, and adults, it's not just for kids, but you don't have to do anything epic. In fact, if you do epic things every time, then they get sick of it and they don't want to do it anymore. And so it's giving them some opinion too. What do you want to do today? What do you feel like? And maybe they get what they want to do, and maybe they don't. But at least they have opinion about it as they get older.
And do you still get out by yourself or with your husband, or is it always now with the family, with the kids?
I do. My husband's great about supporting me in that. I get out. It's sometimes every just a couple weeks, but on a hike or a walk or a bike ride this time of the year, I need it. I just need a reset time, and he needs it too. We try to help each other out as much as we can, but right now we have a new baby and we have 4 kids, and so it's taking a little bit more juggling, but I think that's really important. I think that it's easy as moms, as parents, just get caught up in our kids and wanting to do it all as a family, and sometimes we just need breaks from that too, and time to think and move at a fast pace if we want to, and explore some things that are harder to do with kids, and that's okay too, because it helps them.
Right, yeah, and I think that taking that time, that reset time that you called it, I think is really important for parents to be able to make you your best, so you can be the best mom for the kids, that you get that sort of reset time away from them a little bit.
Exactly, and the best person for myself, and I'm happier, and wife, it's all entangled together, and that's the beauty of it. But it does take some planning ahead and some negotiating, having an important or a supportive spouse or friends or someone to step in when you just can't and you need a break, and it's important to take care of yourself too.
Do you ever get the chance to sort of step back and look at what you're able to share with your kids? Obviously, we've talked about the importance of, just getting them out and active and having them, kind of be outside, not necessarily, like we said, not necessarily big things, even just outside in the neighborhood. But in sharing something that's important to both you and your husband about being, outside, do you ever get a chance to sort of step back and think about what you're able to share with them, or some of maybe those bigger values that through just that small hike or that bike ride or something like that, that you're hoping that they end up kind of learning those lessons through, if I'm making any sense?
Yeah, definitely. We joke they're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. And we try to make it the first, but and like I said, any parent has ideas in your mind. Oh, we want our kids to do this and this and this, and we have to help each other. My husband and I step back and say, okay, are we doing this for them, or are we doing it for us, or are we doing it as a family? And sometimes we're doing things as a family, and whether they like it or not, it's important. And that's what we're teaching them, and they're young enough that they just need to do what we're going to say at that point. And then other times they get to choose, and other times we're going to leave them home and we're going to go do what we want to do for a little bit. And there's balance. You can't please everyone all the time. And yeah, as far as our family, we talk often that we want part of the outdoor, and especially being active, particularly this bike ride today. We went on a 6.5 mile bike ride, and it's a lot of elevation gain. It was hard, and my 7-year-old did it, and he did a great job. And we could step back and say, look at what you did, and this is why this is so important, because we helped you get over this barrier, and now what you can do and what your body can do. And I think that gives him confidence and helps him move forward also, because as an adult, and a more it's confident in who he is as a person too, and that's important to us. And we're seeing successes now after so many years of toddlers and not seeing that sort of thing. So it's fun to see older kids doing well with it.
Yeah, that's got to be great. And I'm sure that as they get older, then to see them amongst themselves, maybe be able to help each other out too, on some things that, they're a little bit too young for that, but.
No, they're not really. Our boys are almost 5 and 7, and they cheer each other on, and they play together, and they repeat what we say. So they, we're talking about this is important for our family, and this is why this makes you healthy and makes your body healthy. They're hearing those things and telling each other those things too. And like I said, I mean, they're also fighting, and it's not all beauty all the time and perfect all the time, but that's okay. That's life.
It is, right? You have to learn how to deal with those, as you go through life, those moments that aren't perfect.
Right.
Do you have any, favorite things that you've done with your family, or is there a go-to that you have when you want to get out? I mean, now we're getting into nicer weather, so it's a little easier to get out maybe than it is for some people in the winter.
Yeah, I mean, we really we like camping. This last summer we were able to go backpacking for the first time. Excuse me. I was pregnant, and so we had that, and then the 3 kids. But we have a kind of a bucket list too, and we like to check those things off our own bucket list, and whether that looks exactly like we thought it might or not, it's okay. It's just sometimes changes as we go. But we love to bike. We bike on a daily basis probably, and then at least in some capacity, and then yeah, hiking is great around here. And then, like I said, Yellowstone gets really crazy in the summer, and so as it gets crazier, we move out, and as the days get hotter, we prefer to be in boats and spend time in the water and not be in the mountain because it's cold, it's hot and not comfortable.
Uh-huh. You mentioned that Yellowstone's going to be getting kind of crazy, and you live there, so you live right near the or I know today you biked into the park. Bucket list. A lot of people have Yellowstone on their bucket list, as places that they would like to go. What's it like, I guess, to live there and near the park, and especially this year? I know it's an anniversary year for the national parks, so they're anticipating a lot of people out there this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. This morning we were in Gardner, which is near here, and went back into the park, and the line was already, a half-hour waiting line. So it gets pretty nuts, and we broke a lot of records last year, and this year is expected to break even more. And so, to be perfectly honest, we stay out, and we go back in, and we'll do it in May, and then go back in October, end of September, because we can enjoy it a little bit more then. But there's a lot of people coming from all parts of the world, really, and these things that we see every day that we take for granted, the wildlife and the beauty, we have to remember that they're things that they've never seen before. So we have to give them a little patience and understand that, yeah, it's okay if they're stopping and taking pictures of these things we see time, because they don't. And that's the beauty of Yellowstone, is it's something that everyone can come and see. And we're right on the edge of it. It's 4 miles to get out of the park. So that's nice that we can get out. And then when we go and have family visiting or something to go into the park, then we go early in the morning and get there before the crowds usually.
I told when you had gone away for a little bit with our technical difficulties, I was teasing with people that or gave them a teaser that you said the best time to visit is October.
Yeah. But don't tell anyone that.
Okay, you didn't hear that. Don't go. And October's horrible, but no. But there, is it? I mean, I'm gonna say, like, I live in Buffalo, so I'm near Niagara Falls, and sometimes we take for granted that people come from all over the world to see this, and do you have to sometimes step back and have that appreciation, or is it you appreciate it because you understand just the uniqueness and the beauty of the area that you live in?
Oh, I think you have to step back sometimes and appreciate it, because quite honestly, sometimes it's annoying that there's, there's a ton of people around, and but that's kind of what you take when you move into the park. And right now the bison are having babies, and so there's babies all over around our neighborhood, which is really neat to see. And in the fall, like in October, the elk are in rut and they're bugling. It's really neat too. So there's some things that I'll never get tired of. And but I'm sure the mountains outside my window I do take for granted. And you know, we're lucky and blessed to live in this park, and I don't think we'll be here forever, but you never know.
You are also involved, I believe, with the Take a Hike Challenge. Could
Right.
you tell us what that is, and tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. My friend Rebecca from Hike Like a Woman, her and I are doing our second year of this challenge, and it'll be, I think we're deciding it's going to be 6 weeks now, starting in the beginning of June, and we have a different challenge every week. And the whole idea is just to get people out hiking. So, for example, one week will be bring a friend. So we encourage people to bring a friend and then snap pictures of the challenge of them doing that, and then post it with our special hashtag, and which is Take a Hike this year, and so we can see the pictures. And then we've got some great companies lined up for prizes, and just to get people a little encouragement, because sometimes that helps. And that's the neat thing about it. I mean, the idea is, like I said, just to get people outside and moving and hiking, and new people and veteran hikers too, because sometimes it takes everyone working together to get more people outside.
Well, and I think sometimes even if you are a veteran hiker, it's nice to do something a little bit different, right? And kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Like mix up a little bit, or do something just a little bit different, to add something to 6 weeks of being on the trail.
Definitely. And this challenge is not just for moms, it's not just for women, it's really for anyone. And we're really trying to hype it up. We have t-shirts and water bottles, and like I said, all these prizes. So we're excited just because we see new people out on the trail, and we get to see pictures of different places, and it's fun. So we're excited about it.
That is great. And so if people want more information about that, or what the challenges are, where can they go in internet land?
Well, if they follow my blog, talesofmountainmama.com, and from there they can find my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those, and just follow us there, and then we're going to start posting things about it in the next couple weeks, really. It'll start in the beginning of June. And then, like I said, it's also with Rebecca from Hike Like a Woman, and so her information's there too. So follow the blog, and that stuff will be along shortly. We're really excited about it.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and it sounds like a great way too, if you've got a family, if you've got kids that you want to, be more active with, or make outside part of your family routine. Also, a great way to kind of get kids involved too.
Exactly. Yep.
Perfect. Now we went through some advice for for families, but we always end our chats with a piece of advice that you would give women, or a piece of encouragement that you would give women who who are watching this. So any moms out there with kids who might want to get their kids active, what would be some of your words of encouragement, words of advice for them out there?
I guess give yourself a break. It's not easy, and that's okay. You'll be frustrated and have days where it literally takes you an entire day to get out of the house, and that happens to me often. I think if you give yourself a little leeway, then it just makes things easier, because you know that you're not perfect, and you don't have to be super mom to do it. And then just start small, and make it fun. If you're just sending your kids outside in the backyard all the time, which is fine, but if you're doing that all the time, then they don't see that it's important to you too, and they need to see that you're getting outside with them. It's a family event, or a mom and kids event, or it's just something that they see is important too.
I think that's great. I think that's so important, what you said, that it's important that they see that it's important to you. That I think that you learn a lot from what you do with your parents.
Exactly. Whether you like to admit it or not, and maybe it takes 30 years to admit it, but it does make a
Yes,
difference.
it may take 30 years or more, but yes, you can then later admit, yeah, I get that, that was important, and I'm glad that we did that.
Yeah.
Well, Amelia Meyer, Tales of a Mountain Mama, thank you so much for joining us on Women in Power Active. We loved having you here and are excited to get on the trail some this summer.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Women in Power Active. We will see you all soon next time, same channel, and have a great one, guys. Bye-bye.